to the Woolly Bean podcast. My name is Juanita, and I am the maker and owner behind Woolly Bean. I am a mom and, of course, a knitter, and then I sew project bags, which, oddly enough, I have none of my own right now. I turned my one I usually have into a makeup bag, and I've decided to keep it that. And so I've got to make myself some new ones, but meanwhile, I've been making some for you guys, so that will come later. I can always do it whenever. Today, I'm excited to have a chance to podcast. Usually I have to wait until my family is not home, but my husband's here. He's got the kids upstairs. The youngest one's napping, and the lighting is hopefully good. It's a beautiful day today. It's 2 days ago, it was only like 30 degrees, and I was out in some volunteer work where I stayed outside all day, and I really realized that I want a heavy wool sweater. I do not have that. So I did get to make use of several cowls and mittens and had my children bundled up because I had them with me, but yeah, I found some definite holes in our woolen wardrobe that I need to fill. But yeah, today it's, I think, supposed to get to 60 and it's sunny out, and definitely has helped my mood. It's been a weird week for me, not feeling quite myself, but today doing okay. So let's see, I'll go ahead and get started, and I have no FOs, nothing. So everything I'm working on is fingering weight, so I won't even get to do that section. So we'll skip ahead to works in progress. Works in progress. All I've really got today, my first one, I do have an old project bag, but I don't want to show it because it's one of my first ones. So it's before I started using canvas, and I just was using quilting cotton and the muslin inside. And so, I mean, it's still very squishy and usable, but it's just, I can tell, and I use the cheaper zippers, and I can tell how far I've come in my design. So that's what I'm using right now for all my sock projects. That shouldn't be there. But I got to work a little bit. I brought my fur sock with me, and so I'm not sure where I'll put it on the screen, maybe here, but this is what I am slowly working on. If you've been watching my podcast, you've seen how slowly I knit socks, because I am not a monogamous knitter anymore. I always knit multiple things at a time, and so especially with fingering weight, that kind of slows things down. But it's kind of hard to show. In her picture, so yeah, if I said it, didn't say it or not, the fur socks by Melody Hoffman, Bee Mandarines is her Instagram account, and it's got this gorgeous texture to it, and the yarn that I'm using is from a wooden nest, and it is avocado, and then she dyed it over with iron, I believe, and it's a sock base. I don't remember, I have my tag, but I had 2 skeins of this, and I debated making a shawl out of it, but so much of my wardrobe is neutrals that I tend to like, I don't know, a little bit of color and sometimes some of the things I make. So I thought that these would make gorgeous socks since I didn't have anything like this, and they're so incredibly soft. So very happy with it, because the avocado typically, when it's dyed on the yarn, it's pink or peachy pink, but some of the peach shows through on the little slip stitches, and it's just so pretty. So I'm knitting these on 9-inch circulars, which it looks a little bit funny right now because this side is the front of the sock and I am currently working like this will be the back. And in the picture, she doesn't tell you how far, like you can knit your leg of your sock, however long you'd like. But the this kind of goes down to the bottom, like almost to your heel, and then you knit the heel. And so far I have knit 4 socks, one pair for a gift, and then 2 singular. But each time I've done I always get it wrong, fish kiss lips heel, fish lips kiss heel, that one anyways, whatever, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But I've done that one and it fits my heel really well, but I wanted to try something different. And so in the pattern, I cannot remember what it's called. I don't know if it's heel turn and gusset, I don't remember. And I tried to get my iPad to be able to have the patterns for reference, but my 5-year-old was quite insistent on playing a game, and I realized that it would mean them being upstairs. And I mean, my husband's watching them, so I don't think that's all they're doing, is just up there by themselves. But because my studio is down a few steps away from the rest of the house. Anyways, so it's a different heel, but up to the heel at least, so that was exciting. And I have quite a bit. I mean, I didn't bother, I just had the whole thing caked up and didn't do it. Sometimes I'll do, if I'm worried about how much yarn I have, I'll separate it out and measure and make sure I have so many grams for each one. But yeah, so I got a little progress on my first sock, and I really, really like it. I'm excited about it. I love neutrals and texture. I think you guys, if you've watched this far, if you're new, I love neutrals and texture. But if you're not new, if you're a regular watcher, is it considered regular if there's only a handful of episodes? I don't know, but if you are, then you know that about me already. So, and if you're new, welcome. I forget to say those kind of things. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe. Really always say, like, subscribe below, but, or don't, just come back. But it's exciting to see. I've had one of my watchers mention me on her podcast. I wanted to mention her. I'll mention her later because I'll look her up in between, because I always stop my videos and I'll mention her. But I can't remember the name of her podcast. Now I've started watching her podcast, but she mentioned me on hers, and I've noticed a little boost in my followers, and that was so kind of her. So, and the words, I think how'd you describe my podcast? Bright and happy. So I was pleased that's what it comes across as, because sometimes on this end I am a little unclear. My second work in progress is simply my sweater weather socks, and I don't know that I've made any progress. I don't know that I've even gotten a chance to pick these up since the last podcast, so I won't go into too much depth. But still, also on 9-inch circulars, number 1, just like the other sock, and I did the largest size, and this is the second one. I have one finished. We went to the St. Louis Zoo over the weekend, and that's when my husband had a meeting up there, and it was like 30 something degrees, I don't remember, and so we all bundled up, and to go to my husband and my friend's husband were at the meeting. We went to the zoo with the kids, and my point was, I wanted so badly to have a pair of wool socks. I was like, I looked through my drawer, and now that I'm knitting socks, like my store-bought socks look so, I don't know, I'm just like, they're thin. How are those supposed to keep me warm? Like, they're cotton. And so I wanted a pair of wool socks. So I have one of these that's finished, and then I have one of the blueberry waffle socks that's finished. And so I wore mixed match socks to the zoo. It worked, kind of. It felt silly, but no one could see them. So let's see. My only other work in progress, I'm a little unsure about, like, if I'm allowed to share anything, but I want to say I will give a little sneak peek, because she has shared it on her podcast, but I am doing a test knit for Fiber Tales, and I'm just knitting. I'm in the middle of the row, but I am working on a shawl. Sorry, my window's open and I'm not used to being able to see. So I'm waiting for the mailman. I got notified that my order of yarn is supposed to come today for my Tecumseh sweater. And I was hoping before the podcast so I could show it to you, but not yet. So okay, here's my shawl. It is I don't remember the name of it, but that's fine since this is test knit. But the yarn that I am using, I can tell you that it is from Knitpicks, and it's their Capra, and it is in caviar. And I think they've discontinued this, which I know that places can't make the same thing forever, but now that I'm, I don't know, making more things, I've learned that they do that with fabric. I never realized that certain colors or prints get discontinued. I don't know. Not that I really assumed that they would make it forever, but kind of like, so if I find something I like, now I'm just so tempted to snatch up and, you know, as much, I don't know, a lot of it. So like, for instance, what I'm wearing today is a cowl that I've made years ago. Oh, that's not my postman. I saw someone drive by. It's salt spray, I think. I do not remember who it's made by, but I'll put that here on the side. And I made this in Capra, which the Capra is their cashmere merino. It's an 80-10-10, so merino MCN. That's what that means. I get confused when knitters use the little, like the one I haven't learned still is, it's like BFL or BF something. I don't know what that means yet. So if you know, tell me. So yeah, so this is a MCN 80-10-10, so merino cashmere nylon in caviar, just like a real cool, or is it cool or warm? I don't know. I just noticed that it looks like Cheeto fingers grabbed this skein, which means a kid has been in my yarn. But I had initially bought this and a lighter gray. I can't remember. Grab it. It's just up here. Platinum. Capretta and platinum for, I was going to knit the Raina shawl. And that was, I believe, earlier in the year. And that's when I was going through my panic attacks really bad. And I still managed the brioche. It wasn't, like, brioche wasn't even that challenging, but I was struggling with keeping that joy in my knitting, which was hard. And so I decided to not knit the Raina shawl. I also think I want to knit it in something with more substance, since these knits tend to be a little bit more delicate. You know, like you can see the fabric of it is just real thin in this yarn. And I think in the Raina she uses, I don't remember the name, it's Brooklyn Tweed, so it's got that loft to it. And I think I might try that one time, because I still would love to knit that. I love the, and I think these are maybe too contrasty for me. I would like one where it's like almost barely any contrast. So anyways, I needed something to do with these, and so I started to test knit the shawl, which I found out I'm not as far along as everyone else. I think that they have more time in the day than I do, or I'm just doing too many things, but I wish I wasn't in the middle of the row. It's a beautiful, it's got the little popcorn stitch and triangular shawl, and I'm really looking forward to, there's an applied border, and I'm just so impressed with her. She's expecting a baby and she has a toddler, and you know, I know what's involved with all of that and how tired you are and you're getting ready for a baby, but then you're taking care of someone, and then your energy level's not always what it used to be. And she, instead of always finding a pattern, she just designs them, and I do not have that kind of mind. I like the making part more than the design. I considered getting into design, but I think my brain is just wired differently than it needs to be, because I know exactly what it is that I like and what I'm drawn to, and I think there's enough of people making those types of things that I can find those items. So anyways, that's my third work in progress, and I'll be able to share more details and more pictures of that. I haven't put very many pictures of this on Instagram yet either, so, but it is so soft, and I know this is going to, my last shawl was my hoarfrost, so this will be exciting to have something that's like this is my go-to. Oh, what I was saying was this color was discontinued. I don't even remember what they called it, but they don't have this color anymore. And this, I used a DK weight, and so the pattern calls for a bulky, so it's not, take it off for a second. It's not what it would normally, it would be slightly bigger than that, I think, but yeah, I made modification and didn't even realize I was doing it. I was a beginner knitter, and I just knit it. So, all right, so those are my 3 works in progress, and I would like to share with you a few, I wouldn't say dream knitting, it's just what I know I'm going to cast on next. So I got these skeins. I don't know if like the right color even will show, because I feel like they're warm. Hold on, let me see if I can adjust the settings. They are just, it's like a olive, a dark olive. I think they're coming across brown. It's a dark olive green there, but I got these on a D-stash from Annie Rowden, and they are Targhee yarn from Shaggy Bear Farms, and fingering weight, and each one has a little bit different yardage. I think there's 3. Oh yeah, there's one. There's 3 of them. So I have 300 yards, 450, and 360. So I was thinking, oh, I didn't bring that book down here. No, I don't have it. In the, I think it's the First Making magazine, the Flora cowl. It's a long, very like delicately knit, I want to say lace knit cowl, and a friend of mine knit it, and she did it in this beautiful, really soft, like this is not soft, but I think it, like, I just feel like this, I don't know, the way that lace is, it's really open, and it's an infinity one, like I think you double wrap, and I think that this will be something nice to wear like in the spring or fall, or indoors in the winter. So it's a little bit something still like warm on you without, because some of the, like the shawls I wear, I want them to really keep me warm when it's really cold out, or to have something to wrap around me. But this, I think, so that's one of my next planned cast-ons. I'm going to finish the shawl first that I have by Fiber Tales, and my socks are always just kind of works in progress. I'm not ever in a hurry to work on those, but yeah, so this is going to be one of my next cast-ons. And oh, I do have one more work in progress, but I don't know where it is. I am making some mittens for my son, and just plain using Tin Can Knits, their free pattern, the world's simplest mittens, I think, and doing a fingering weight It's like a forest green in a merino nylon blend, I think it is. And I realized when I went to the zoo, he did not have any mittens and his hands were freezing cold. My girls have gorgeous little mittens that my knitting mom, whenever I say my knitting mom, I'm talking about Yellow Bird Knits. Anyways, I'll put it here. But she is a person I talked to about knitting. She's like family, and we are best friends. She is definitely one of my best friends. So, but she's like a grandma to my kids, and I would not. It's so fun to have someone I'm sure you know, if you have that one person in your life where like she's the one. If she sees my bags mentioned on someone's podcast, or if she gets something new, or she's cast on something, like vice versa. If I get new yarn, I have to text her a picture of it, or if I'm excited about something I'm working on, I have to Marco Polo her and tell her all about it. So we are very close. And I forget why I mentioned her. Oh, she knit them adorable little mittens, which I do believe I shared on my Instagram a little while ago, the kitten mittens and the hedgehog ones. So there's that one. And then, oh, I think it's here. I got this gorgeous, ignore the basket, it's a work in progress. I make plant hangers, some just for myself, like to hang my ever-growing collection of plants. And so I usually buy clothesline to make them out of, and so this was a scrap that was too small, and I wanted to try to start knitting or sewing a basket. This string is too long. And then I have some thread that they are in colors that I will likely not use. Well, I thought that at the time. Now that I'm sewing more, I could see doing something like that with my girls. But so the bottom is sewn with white thread, and then this is like a peachy coral. And it was supposed to be kind of flat bottomed and then go more straight up, but I don't know. I don't mind it as it is, and just use it to hold little things. So anyways, this I got when I was so I think I'm just going straight into stash. No, this is 5. Okay, I was like, I guess this would be stash enhancement too. So we'll just blend these together, dream knitting and stash enhancement. Because I've had these for a little while, so they're not technically stash enhancement, but I've never shared them on here, I don't think, but maybe I did. So yeah, but I just got these a couple days ago, and how I have never used Woolfolk yarn. So this is Woolfolk DK Tov DK, and it is in their color 02, TDK 02, I guess. So just this really pretty gray color. And it is a, sorry, I've never looked at their tag, I think. 100% Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino Wool. And there are 5 skeins and then 2 that have already been hanged up. So 7 total. And I got this off of Ravelry. This is not the first time I have gotten yarn off of there, because I did order, I had not quite enough of this yarn for my shawl from Fiber Tales, and so I needed a few more skeins, and that's when I found out that Knitpicks didn't have this anymore. And I was freaking out, because then I was like, oh, now instead of using yarn that I would love to use for that shawl, I would have to buy more yarn just to do the test knit. When I was excited to have, I was like, I already have fingering weight, but I didn't have quite enough. Anyways, so I bought a couple skeins off of the Ravelry D-Stash. So if you've never done that, I think most of us have by now, but I forget about it. And So I recently just discovered Woolfolk. I think I had asked someone, I liked an item, like a knit item that they had made, and asked them what they used, and they had made it from Woolfolk. So I looked on their site, and yeah, I liked what I saw. And their colors are gorgeous. This is not the color that I initially wanted to knit with. I wanted to knit with one that, I don't know, I can't remember I think it's their Tove 04, but it's like a gingerbread color, like kind of like this maybe. And I was looking for worsted because I was thinking I would knit a big swishy shawl with it, but there wasn't enough. No one had anything like that in their D-stash where it was enough yardage, and then which I understand why. If I had it, I wouldn't want to get rid of it. And what else? I'm losing my thoughts. Oh, and then when I went online and looked at pricing, it wasn't quite. I was like, I just ordered my yarn. Had ordered my yarn for my Tecumseh, and yeah. So I went on and I found someone who had this listed, and it was DK, and I know that I'm either going to knit the Little Twigs sweater by Melody Hoffman, because it is DK weight. I have to just double check. I'm pretty sure I have enough yardage, but I thought that would be it is like so squishy soft. And so I will either knit that yoked sweater, or I will knit a shawl. Though I have this gray shawl, so I mean it's pretty close in color. This is a warmer color. This is a gray, or warmer gray. This is a lighter gray, or cooler gray. So anyways, I might knit the sweater. I do have a gray sweater. That's the problem when you like just a number of colors. But anyways, whatever. I'm knitting something with this very soon because I am so excited. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. It is so much harder to podcast with people home. So, I'm not used to interruptions, and it's throwing me off, but I have some yerba mate tea and peppermint. My yarn came, so it's gonna be crinkly. Let me just open it quickly. I paused the video to sneeze, and then when I did start it again, but my middle child, who's 4, she came down and had something to show me, and then I had to go interrupt a fight upstairs between 2 of the kids. So there are only 3 of them, but sometimes it feels like a lot more. And it's getting a little bit later in the afternoon, so the sun changed, so I had to lower the blinds a little bit. Okay, so I have my yarn to share with you for my Tecumseh sweater. So what was I saying? I had gotten, I like the original color, so a cream with a gold and a dark gray, and I was trying to price it out. I know there's like different kits that you can get, and I don't know. I've been trying to, sorry, I feel like I'm gonna burp. But I've been trying to expand in my palette of yarn, I guess, and find some newer ones that I like, which, like, I'm excited to try the Woolfolk, and like the Targi one from this Shaggy Bear Farms. But for my limited price range, Knitpicks is just kind of where it's at for me right now, though I do get a little frustrated with some of the some things. Like, I ordered my yarn, I got it all picked out. I had money to spend from my older sister for she always gives me yarn money for our wedding anniversary, and this year it was my husband's 12th. It was our 12th wedding anniversary in October, and so I had money to spend on yarn, and I picked out for everything that I needed for the Tecumseh, figured out yardage. It's knit in DK, I hope, because that's what I bought. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I looked at the pattern. I know I looked at the pattern. I don't ever not look at the pattern, but I am trying to knit it similar to Whistle and Thread, or yeah, Whistle and Thread Annie, I think, in that she did it a lot more oversized. So even though like with her small frame, she did a medium. So I bought enough yarn for a medium, and I'm hoping to knit it to a similar kind of fit. And so I definitely will be gauge swatching because I talked about that in my last one, the issues I had with my weekender and my hoarfrost shawl, and just them being a little unexpectedly small. And I've discovered that my when I've gauged before, I'm usually right on, like, but I know that can, I mean, you can use a different set of needles, or your yarn obviously makes a difference, and it's always different. So you can't just rely on that. But, that reminds me of something, but I'll mention that in a minute. Anyway, so I picked out, they just call it Merino Style DK, and it's undyed. I got the light coming from the window, so I'll try to they're natural. I played with the idea of buying extra to dye up, but I was like, no, right now I'm just gonna knit the sweater and I'll play with that later. But it's 100% merino, and each one is 246 yards or 100 grams. So I have I think there's 5 of these. So I've got 5 of those in that natural color. And then so what I was saying, I bought the yarn, and it was coming, and it, I think like 2 or 3 days after I ordered the yarn, they had a sale. And I was so upset because I was happy with what I spent, but when I looked up the yarn that I had purchased, like that bear one was almost 50% off. So I just placed a second order, and it came, I think it was like $25 cheaper, and I got, my plans were to return the first box. This was the only one that was not on sale. So this is their Capra. It's DK, and I think this is super wash, which I'm not super happy with. I'm going to say super again. I don't see that it says. No, it says hand wash, so that's good. They just have these new heathered colors. So I got 3 of those, and these came from the first box because these weren't on sale, so I kept them and returned the rest of the box because everything else was on sale. And then my gold color, which it's a little more orangey in color than on screen, but I think it'll look good on the sweater. So let's see. Oh, those are the colors. So that'll be the main color, and then the little, I can't remember which is which on it. Anyways, little accent this, little accent that. And so you'll see pictures of that on my Instagram, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. So I do have an Instagram account, Woolly Bean, put it here. And of course my website, if you are interested in checking out my project bags, woollybean.com. So I think those are the only platform. I technically have a Facebook page, but I don't use it. It's there. You could look up Woolly Bean if you wanted, but I don't really use it. Otherwise, I had 2 of those, and then I bought sock yarn. So this will be familiar. I bought more of the Stroll Tweed in Oyster Heather. I love the way it knits up. I love the little Donegal Tweed flex in it. And I was thinking of I love a contrasting toe, so I got this rabbit heather in the Stroll tweed from them, and so I was going to do like a light toe or just a light stripe at the top, maybe some like sporty stripes at the top, to do kind of a twist, like sporty classic twist. And then I got 2 skeins of, drop those, the Wellies heather, which I've had before and I had 1 and I've been using it for the toe on several of my socks, like the sweater weather socks. And so I was thinking same thing, to make maybe like a vanilla with some of the oyster as a contrast. And going all tweed here, but look, a tiny bit of color. Just a little Knitpicks Stroll tweed. I don't know why I can't say this. Prussian heather. I was trying to tell a friend, but it's a really pretty blue. And again, the tweed, and then I thought of maybe using this as an accent. So I've got socks planned, even though it takes me forever to knit socks. And now I have my yarn for my Tecumseh here, so that's really exciting. But I'm finishing the shawl and at least 1 pair of socks before I cast on anything else, I think. Oh, I'm for sure finishing the shawl because that's a test knit, so I feel an obligation for that. But my other personal knits. So look, I have this giant basket now. This is my yarn. I have a cabinet. I'll try to put a picture of it in the wall, or in the beginning, like, what do you call it? The intro, where I've got 3 sweater quantities of yarn in worsted weight in 3 different colors, and then some various neutrals, like leftovers from my horsefrost shawl, some of the same yarn but in a brown, and then some, I don't know, just little various skeins here and there, mostly worsted, a few fingering, and I forgot what I was going to say about it. Oh, that's all stuff, like I have some of it projects picked out, but I'm not going to work on them like right away. And this is supposed to be my basket of yarn to like I keep on my dresser, which around here you can't really find baskets at Goodwill or a thrift store very easily that are nice. But on a Florida, like if you go on vacation, one of my favorite things to do is go to like a nicer part of town in a bigger city and go to the thrift stores there, because I think I got this giant basket for like $2 on my trip to Florida this summer. And I got another giant one that I keep in my girls' room with for their stuffed animals. So like a big round one. But I mean at TJ Maxx, which is usually where I buy other baskets, and they were, I don't know, like $25, $30 for that size. So you can't beat $2 or $3. It's very exciting. And let's see. So that is a lot of yarn stash enhancement, unplanned to show you. And then I wanted to share with you also a few books that I have. So 1 second. All right, I've got 24 minutes left on my phone that'll let me do for video. So I shouldn't take that long anyways, because all I got left to share is a few new book stash enhancements that I got that I'm really loving. The first one is Mending Matters by Katrina Rodabaugh. It's a stitch, patch, and repair your favorite denim and more. A slow fashion guide for a well-loved wardrobe. And I had mentioned before about like slow fashion October. I still kind of was learning what that was then, and I followed the account and got a lot of ideas. I got a chance to sew absolutely nothing that month, and now it's already halfway through November, but I don't know, things don't always go like you plan. It's okay. But I did grab a few. I had some hand-me-down pants that I got from my niece, and they have the holes in the knees, which I just am not a fan of. One, because I feel like then I have to, in the winter, because in the summer I never wear jeans. I just don't. I wear shorts. And so in the winter, when I wear pants, I don't want my knees sticking out. Like, I don't want to have to shave just that part of my leg. Or shave all of my legs. I feel like sometimes I just want to be able to pull a pair of pants on and not think. And so she gave me these just burgundy maroon, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm having some lighting issues. I would move my whole, I guess I could move the camera a little bit more. And it's still reflected on my face. Okay, we'll stay where we're at. But anyways, they have the holes in the knees, and they're a little, the one thing, like a lot of times with these, in the book, I'll show you, it's really pretty. It's the way it's done, because she shows you, like, basically how to do it, some stitches. I've learned I don't like the exterior patches, except for, like, on elbows. But, like, that, I don't really, it's not my jam. But this was cool, using, if there was like a hole in your shirt and you patch it, but then covering it up, she made like a pocket to go on top, which I did like that on the dress. But I love this. And if you have kids, I mean, the pants I pulled out to plan to fix are my own. Right now my kids grow out of their pants too quickly to have to patch. I have a son who's 5, and then a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter. So the only things that are getting handed down are from the girls. And what was I gonna say? Oh, they don't get, like, my daughter Penny, she doesn't wear holes and stuff enough to mend them. So let me find another picture. So like this little, like, visible mending, but where it's on the inside, and they show it. Then when you get the creative, it talks about the creative opportunity that you can do I'm not going to even attempt to say what that's called. Japanese form of mending known as boro, which translates to rags, but they call it mended with basic and utilitarian sashiko stitches. And I think it's becoming pretty popular, but I think it's gorgeous. If you check out her account, Katrina Rodabaugh, I'll try to remember and put it here, her Instagram account. She's got a lot of pictures of different pants that she's mended. And so anyways, this is an awesome, I pre-ordered it. I got it like the day it was released. I think it came in the mail the day after, and like even the text here is embossed. Like, it's a gorgeous big book. I would highly recommend it. If slow fashion is your jam, do that one. So I pulled out, but I'm not really quite sure what to mend it with. The only thing I could think, I have to hem these a little bit, because I am a shorty. I'm 5'3"3/4", and these are a little long, and I always have to cuff them. So I think, but typically when I mend them, or hem pants, I use the original hem and just end up getting folded in. So I don't really know. I might have to do some like contrast fabric, which could look cute. And then I've got a few pairs of, because I have another pair of black pants that have a hole. I don't think either of these are them. These are some that don't fit well. And instead of just sending them to the thrift store, which I could do, I still feel out the way to reuse, but I'm going to cut them up and use the black fabric for patches, because it's nice, and these are stretchy, and I feel like that would be good for like the knees on pants and different stuff. So I do, but one of my pairs of black ones has some holes, and I'm going to mend it with the fabric from these. So there's that. And then, kind of on the subject of reusing, I just was going to share, I haven't done it yet because I have to figure out how to de-seam, but I have a couple of sweaters. This was from my mom. I think she got it from the thrift store. And it's just this really pretty taupe wool, but it's got like some pink in it. I don't know. It's really pretty neutral, like a heathered neutral, and it's worn. It's well worn. I think technically the sweater would actually fit me, but I don't know. I just would rather knit it myself. That sounds funny. I could take out the, it says made in the USA in Minnesota. It's a size 36. I'm pretty sure it's machine knit, but anyways, I'm gonna unravel this, and when I do, I'll share it with you. And then I've got, I'm not even sure what this is. My mom had 2 of these sweaters that she knit forever ago. It looks like it's got obviously mohair, and she made a bunny out of it, of the other sweater for my kids, crochet a bunny, but I've got to unravel this one, and I thought that would be something fun to, it's really soft, it would make a pretty cowl. And then this is a little different, but this sweater is gigantic. It's got some threads on it, but it was given to me by my, the lighting. I'm so sorry, guys. I know this podcast is just all over the place. But this was given to me by my older sister, and it's a men's extra large. It's Tommy Bahama, but their extra large is like an XXL. So I was going to wear it oversized, like around the house and stuff, but the sleeves are way too long, and it's just ridiculously big. It's like way, way too big. So it is kind of like a bird, like a dark purple with black in it, and it is a wool cotton blend. So I was like, this yarn would be like fun to knit something with, like knit a sweater still. So I'm gonna try to unravel that, and I will share with you how those 3 go. So that's in my mend and reuse pile. And then the last thing I have to share is just, I own, like, what, this is number 6. I own 1 through 4. I didn't order the color one, just because most of the projects, aside from, there's a couple things I was like, oh, I like those projects, but I just wasn't as excited about the color issue. But the black and white one, I really, really, really wanted. And so there is just always in some of them, like there's something that I, like, oh, it's pretty, but not me. But getting this, it was making me look back through the other ones, and I realized there's so many patterns that I've either purchased or I have in books that are great patterns. So I am going on, I was also recently gifted a ton of patterns by a friend, from Caitlin Hunter and from Andrea Mallory. So like an insane amount of patterns. And then just like all the things in this and the things I want to sew and the yarn I have. So I am on a pattern and yarn freeze until I really feel like I've made use of what I have. I don't mind having a yarn stash if it's stuff that I know that I'm going to use, but there's so many projects that I have just sitting aside that I can make use, like I need to make use of. And so going through this made me go through my other books, and not just like awesome things like my kids would love felt masks, and I have felt to do them with, but the recipes that they have in here, and what was the other thing that I wanted to share? It's this one sweater, and they have it, she says she knits it for her sons, but then she finally knit it for like in an adult size. But now I want to make it for my kids, like every single kid, I want them to have one. Whitney Hayward, is that her name? Yeah. she's got a gorgeous cardigan in there that I would love to make. I'm drawn always to like cabled cardigans in cream. So I think that was like a perfect choice. And I just want to find that one sweater and then I promise I'll let you go. We'll just sit here quietly while I hunt for it. There's shawl and there's a beautiful shawl in there, a hat, discussions about Shetland somewhere. Oh my goodness. I edit this part out, but I like don't know how to like cut out part of this. So it's gonna be an awkward thing while you're waiting. Oh, while I'm looking really quickly though. Oh, I guess I'll just share this. It's a small picture, but it's this tiny little seed stitch cardigan, and then she's got it in an adult size. Sorry, that was an alarm on my iPad, which I did finally get back from my son. Anyways, okay, so the pullover, I want to definitely knit that. So I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about, in my last podcast, I was talking about gauge, and just because I wasn't making swatches. And so I definitely, no matter what I'm knitting, I'm going to make a swatch this time. And not just to get the idea of the fabric, but then of course make sure that the end result is what I'm hoping it to be. And I listened to a really great podcast that talked about that, and I cannot remember, I want to say it's Thread and Ladle. Andrea Mowry in her newsletter, she recommended them, and I have been listening to them. There's just like 6 episodes, I think, but I was listening to them while I sew, and I think it's the 3rd episode, but I mean, there's only 6, so it's not hard to find. But it's on their website. It's just an audio podcast, and the whole podcast is like 20 minutes, and it talks about gauge, and it was so enjoyable. Even if you already know everything there is to know about gauge, if you know nothing, it was extremely informative, and yeah, so I was just gonna recommend listening to that. And the podcast in general. It's really, really interesting, and it gave me some kind of inspiration as to when I'm doing my podcast, subjects that I could also possibly share, because I mean 90% of this is going to be about knitting, but hopefully I'll eventually have some sewing to share. I used to sew for my daughters all the time. I've been working or haven't been well this year, but that's been finally, doing better. So I think that's it. I think that's everything. I even had a drink. I had a beverage this time, guys. Just a little tea. I just don't realize when you can talk for like an hour how it does dry your throat out. But I apologize for how this is kind of everywhere. I had expected this one even, ironically, to be more organized, but it is what it is. So thank you so much for joining me again, and please come back. Check out, if you haven't yet, check out my earlier podcasts, and check us out on woollybean.com. See the bags that we've got up there, and I'm planning some exciting stuff for Black Friday coming up, and my Instagram, which I am very on top of, so you're welcome to direct message me on there, or send me an email if you like at woollybeanshop@gmail.com. So thank you guys. See you next time.